Hey everyone, what I've got here is the iFLYTEK AINOTE 2. This is a large e-ink tablet that you can use to take notes, transcribe, translate, record memos, read ebooks, and there's a lot of AI functionality built into it as well to help you be more productive. It's actually built upon Android 14, so you can install pretty much anything, but obviously being e-ink, you're not going to use this to watch YouTube videos all day. But e-ink does have a lot of benefits. You get great battery life, it's incredibly thin, it's incredibly light, and writing on it is fantastic. So I spent 3 to 4 weeks with this now, and I've been very, very impressed with it. So in this video, I'd like to show you what this is all about, talk more about its features, its pricing, and walk you through the functionality that's available in this tablet. Let's dive into it. This is the iNote 2, sent out to me for review by the company iFLYTEK. It is a premium AI-powered e-ink tablet that features a large 10.65-inch display with a resolution of 1920 by 2560 pixels and a pixels per inch rating of 300. At only 4.2 millimeters thin and 295 grams in weight, iFLYTEK claims that this is the thinnest AI paper tablet ever released. Under the hood, the tablet uses Android 14 and boasts an octa-core CPU, 4GB of memory, 64GB of storage, Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.4. And interestingly, the power button also doubles as a fingerprint reader. The company states that its 4000 mAh battery gives all-day use and up to 14 days of usage time when you use the tablet for about 30 minutes per day. They also note it has up to 113 days of standby time. One thing to bear in mind is that the iNote 2 does not have a built-in backlight. Instead, it has adopted a Mobius Carta 1300 e-ink screen, so that it looks and feels more like paper, not like an iPad. This gives a more natural writing experience compared to standard glass screen tablets and e-readers. All in all, the iNote 2 is a powerful device, but it's also a relatively simple device as well. There's no camera, there's no backlight, and there's no speakers, so you have to rely on Bluetooth earphones for audio. When discussing any tech product, you have to take cost into account. At the time of recording, the tablet retails at $551 on Amazon.com and £579 on Amazon UK. You can also purchase the iNote 2 directly from iFLYTEK, but the pricing structure is a little different to Amazon. In the USA, it's $598 for the tablet on its own, and $627 if you want a stylus tip refill set included. Prices outside of the USA will depend on current currency exchange rates. In the UK, it's currently £525.30 for the tablet and £551.65 with the stylus tip refill set. Both of these prices from the official website include the iNote 2 protective case, which sells separately for $59 in the USA and £49 here in the UK. A Type Folio keyboard is also available and it sells for $129 in the USA and £114.60 here in the UK. But the smart choice is to purchase the keyboard when you're buying the tablet, as it only costs you $29 extra in the USA and around £40 extra here in the UK. Please note that neither the case nor the Type Folio keyboard were sent out to me for review, so I will not be reviewing them in this video. When you open up the box, you will see the iNote 2 tablet, stylus tips, a user manual that shows you how to get started, and a USB Type A to Type C cable. The included Wacom stylus pen has 4096 levels of pressure, iFLYTEK branding, and a button on the side. Finally, we have the iNote 2 tablet itself, and wow, I could not believe how thin and light the tablet was in person when I first saw it. It's incredible. After attaching the stylus to the side of the tablet magnetically, I went through the initial setup process. This involved selecting my language and region, connecting to Wi-Fi, creating an account, setting a lock screen PIN code, and registering my fingerprint using the power button. The iNote 2 is a versatile e-ink tablet that can be used in many different ways. However, iFLYTEK stressed to me that they designed the tablet with professionals in mind, such as executives, doctors, project managers, lawyers, and more. Their hope is that the iNote 2 helps users manage their time better by being more efficient and more productive. A number of features are built into the tablet to help you do this, including transcription support for 16 languages with 95% accuracy, instant translation support for 11 languages, support for ChatGPT and Gemini, AI summaries which can record a 2-hour meeting and summarize it in 3 minutes, handwritten to text support for 133 languages, the ability to search through notes and organize notes into folders, and syncing data across multiple devices. All of these features are obviously desirable to professionals, but it is important to remember that the iNote 2 is a large e-ink reader, but it's also an Android tablet, so you can download any apps that you want and make the tablet your own. So I do think that iNote 2 will appeal to many different people. And I do think that those of you who are looking at alternative solutions, such as the Amazon Kindle Scribe, should give this a look as well. So at this stage of the review, you should have a good understanding as to what the iFLYTEK iNote 2 is all about. You'll know what the main selling points are, its features, specifications, pricing, what's in the box, etc. But what I'd like to do now is switch gears and dive a little bit deeper into what this is actually like to use, because I think that's really going to help those of you who are thinking of buying this know whether this is for you or whether this is not for you. And let's be honest, this is not the type of product that is for everyone. It really is a niche style product that's for people who read ebooks, who are looking to take notes. It's not for the general public that's, just wants a normal tablet. But what it does very well. But before we dive into the settings, etc., let's look at the hardware. And, you see this with ebook readers and solutions like this a lot, and they talk about, it's just like writing on paper and it feels like just holding a writing pad. And annoyingly, they're right. Oh, sorry. There we go. It's clicked on there. Sometimes I find it hard to click on the side. But they're right. I do agree with that. Writing on this is fantastic, and holding it does feel like you're just holding a writing pad. This doesn't feel like you're holding a tablet. It's just so light. Your brain just can't work it out. I'm so used to holding tablets that are heavier than this, but yeah, it's super light and it's really nice to hold. I'm sure the cases that you can get for it are really nice too, but even naked, I think this is just such a lovely device to walk around the house with. Now at the back here, you can see there's some pads there, so that if you're putting it down on a table or something, you're not going to damage it. We've got the connection points here as well, so these pins will connect to cases, the type follow keyboard, etc. At the front, you can see that the main display here, there's a little bit of an edge to it. There's a little bit of a lip all the way around, which it's okay. It's not too thick. From a hardware perspective, button perspective, we've got the Type-C charging port at the bottom, which is barely in there. It's so thin. It's basically the size of our Type-C charging port. We've got power up here at the top right, and then we've got this button. This is the AI button, and then when you click that, there's lots of shortcuts and you can just say what you want, and ChatGPT 5 will then try and do it for you. So it's quite good. You've got all that functionality built in. So you can see up here, it says, if you hold it up, it says 3 seconds. So if I just push it there, we'll get going. So starting up, yeah, you still have to load up. There still is a loading screen because this is loading Android, which it's still kind of baffling to me when I'm using this, because it just doesn't feel that Android is behind the scenes because you're not getting that usual Android experience. Okay, passcode has been entered. Okay, so this is what you see when you load up, or you'll see something like this. Now, we've got the main screen here, but before we do that, you can see that I've got a reminder here, and that's because I've synced my Google Calendar, and it's reminding me that, well, it's reminding my wife that she's on call. But what I'm going to do is click ignore. And this is the general layout. You've got search functionality there, and then we've got notes. And the display here about notes, it makes sense. This is primarily designed for people that want to take notes, record memos, and transcribe, etc. And that dominates the interface here. You can see here you've got all default, and it's saying default there because you can add folders and then create different folders for your notes. So you can organize things that way if you wish. You can change the way that the notes are displayed, etc. as well. There's lots of different options there for how you display those notes. So I just want to walk you around this area here. We've got schedule, so that's for your calendars. I'll speak about that later. We've got reading, which is eBooks. We've got down here, we've got email. And then here we've got actually the applications. So I might actually install a few extra things for you later, like a browser to show you that. And then we've got settings, and then we've got the number of items, etc. This is the cloud icon there. That's for syncing to your account, so you can sync a certain number of notes, etc. We've got two other buttons down the bottom here. So this, if I click here, oh, it's a slide. Forgot about that. There we go. I always forget that. So this brings up ChatGPT 5, and you can also get Gemini 3.1 Pro if you sign up to their monthly plan, but ChatGPT 5 is free. Now, the one thing I did clarify with them about this particular feature is that this always uses their account, and there's pros and cons to that. I think the great thing is you're getting the premium ChatGPT experience and you're not paying for it. But the downside to that is that if you use ChatGPT and you have your own account, then you're not going to see your own chats here. I guess there's a privacy issue there as well. When you're using ChatGPT services, it can be quite a private thing if you're, I guess speaking about family things, personal things related to your finances. So you don't want others to see it. And I'm not accusing the company of doing anything, but just generally speaking, from a privacy point of view, when you're using other people's services, you have to be aware of that. But I think it's really cool that they have ChatGPT 5 built into that, and it's a shortcut down there. What they did confirm to me was that this always uses their ChatGPT setup, but you can go into the Google Play Store and just download Gemini and just download ChatGPT and just use it like a normal application. But you cannot assign your private account, your personal account, to that shortcut. But it's pretty cool that they've got this built in. I think a lot of people will find this useful. I use ChatGPT a lot, so yeah, it's something that I do value. So if I get rid of this here, yep. And then we've got the other button down the bottom. See, I remember to slide this time. And this gives you quick notes. This is not a function I've been using a lot. I've mostly just been using the note taking for testing, if I'm honest, but I think the quick notes is a good idea. You don't always want to open up the full note functionality and get access to all the different features which are in there. Sometimes a quick note is all you want. Just a quick note there that just so you don't forget something, just to remind you of something. So it's quite good that they've got that quick note functionality there. Now, I do want to focus on the note taking aspect of it, but before we get there, we do want to see the settings. So you can access settings down here, down at the bottom, but just like Android, you can just pull that down, and you can see your kind of standard Android drop down there. You can see the battery, the date, the Wi-Fi connection. You can actually rotate this screen. That's another thing you should be aware of. You can rotate this, and you can use this in portrait or landscape mode, whatever your preference is. We'll go back to portrait. And you can change the default shape of the pencil and the pen, etc. And one of the key features here actually in the drop-down menu is changing the display between HD and speed. Now I've generally been using the speed option just because I value responsiveness. I want it to be a quick experience, a fast user experience. But you can choose optimal display. It'll be a little bit slower, but one of the things you don't get with the optimal display is ghosting. Now, I'm sure you've all used an Amazon Kindle before or any other alternative ebook reader. Ghosting is something that does occur, and you'll see it all the time in the optimal speed setting where you see kind of remnants of the previous page there. You probably noticed that when I've been moving about, you'll see parts of the last page. So if you really want that best experience, the optimal experience, go for that. I found the speed option to be just as good. The ghosting doesn't bother me, and I think it's good to get a little bit of a faster experience. We'll switch back there. But if you go back into the settings area, you'll see it is just a standard. Obviously, this is where you add your earphones, etc. for audio. Just a normal kind of Android settings area. Nothing too fancy here. So, yeah, a lot of cool things here. And one thing to note there about security is, yes, this is a fingerprint reader as well, which is pretty cool. And I'm up to the latest version. The AI button at the top of the tablet is not something I've been using a lot, if I'm honest, but the idea behind it is that you push the button and then you can ask for a summary, or you can just ask a general question. But be aware that it starts listening as soon as you press the button. It's not like you press the button and then you say, right, I'm ready to ask the question. So if I push the button here, tell me about Gmail integration. So you can see it's loading up now, and you can obviously change the AI bot that you use. So yeah, it gives you like a quick answer to different things like that. I think some people will find that useful. Yeah, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve with this. It's a nice little feature. It's not something I'm going to use a lot, but it does have it there, and it saves you going into the dedicated app and typing things out or anything. You can just push the button and just ask a question and you'll get an answer. So there might be situations you would find that useful. There's another thing which you will come across as well, and it's really about navigation. And when you go into, for example, Kindle, if I go into the Kindle app, see this button is loaded here now. This is effectively a navigation button, and it'll bring up a window, because you can see here that I don't have an arrow at the back. And this is actually quite a smart decision by iFLYTEK, because you're not trying to modify how apps are working. You've got this little overlay there. So I've still got the full book and I can use it like an ebook, and it's really nice to read. It really is. There's no backlight, but that means that you're getting a normal reading experience at all times. But now, because there's no navigation at the top, I've got these different options here. So I can go back to home, multitasking, and I'm sure if you use Android, you know what all of these do. But if I just show you here, drop down, pop up, there we go, brings up the settings. Multitasking, well, just shows you all the different windows, etc., which you can open up. And we've got home, you've got back, you've got display, etc. But if we push home, you can see it takes us back to the home screen. Note-taking is at the heart of the iNote 2, hence the name, the iNote. And you can see that from just the general user interface. It's all focused on note-taking. And in my opinion, the experience is fantastic. You've got that quick note functionality there, and then you've got all your main notes there, and you can categorize things. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert on note-taking. I have downloaded a lot of note-taking apps for my iPad, and some of them are really good. And I think my main complaint with them is that a lot of them are adding functionality I don't need, and they kind of lose that simple note-taking experience. And I definitely gear more towards a simple note-taking experience. The easier it is to write a note, the more likely I am to use it. So you can see that I've been testing it a lot, testing the mind maps, the transcriptions and handwriting and different things. And for the most part, I've been really impressed with it. It's quite accurate with handwriting and different things like that. And it's really easy to, just select a note, move it, put it into a category, delete it from the cloud, etc. Or just delete it. You can see that all of these are named as the date and the time, the title there. But that's just because I've been messing around and I've not set the title. But if I click to add a new note, I'll show you how you can do that. At the top here, we've got the main selection of different options there for writing, erasing, and transcribing, etc. But before we get to that, I want to show you the general interface. The top here, you can click that button to focus on writing. We've got an option down here to change the title. If you wish, change it to whatever you want, my amazing note or whatever. But if you push the three dots up here, you'll see a lot of really useful options. It defaults to the date and time, but you can edit that title at any point, or if you select auto detect title, it should change the title to what you've selected up here or what you've wrote in the note. It's quite good actually at detecting what you've been writing and just change the name of it there. And you can see the schedule's coming up for something for my wife there. We've also got templates, font size, tap to speech, OCR, language, search, sync, privacy, delete. With OCR, one of the questions I asked was if there was variations on the OCR language, and it doesn't appear there is. You can see here, like for example, with Spanish, it's just Spanish. There's no South American Spanish and mainland Spain Spanish. And then we've got English. It's defaulting to EN US, but it doesn't seem to have EN like UK or anything like that. I've not found it. There are a lot of languages here that you can add. You can see there's a huge amount of languages, but we don't have variations for English speakers. There's not Canadian English writing, there's not Australian, New Zealand, UK, etc. But I've not found that to be a problem as yet. When you're setting up initially, it defaults to this kind of outline, but there are a lot of templates there that you can use instead. So if you don't want lined, you can go with grids and different things, blank. But there's pre-made documents as well, Pomodoro technique, habit tracking. So there's lots of things like that. Downloading it. There we go. And that's you've got a default note-taking option for habit tracking. So there's a lot of options there. Yeah, guitar music, different things like that. So there's a lot of cool options there, and you can select what you need. I think for me, I would always kind of gear more back to the simple, the wide lined, and I do think this one is really good. It's very easy to use, but it's so easy to change the template at any point. You just go back in and you can change the template to anything that you want. So let's look at the note-taking options that we have here. And let's just look at the basic functionality first, the basic way to write. So when you first load it up, you can just start writing. So this is a test. Very bad writing, very, very bad writing. But the good thing about this is that I can erase it. And there's a few ways to erase. One way is to use the kind of lasso option and do that. And then I've got an option for cutting like that. But I can select to undo. And what I can do is hold the button on the side of the stylus and I can just rub it out. Now the lasso is quite useful, but for me it tends to be silly mistakes that I make and then I just need to kind of change something quickly. So once you've removed it, you can go back in and push that there. I can change the pen, pencil, the thickness, etc. Change the size. I can select eraser. And I can do my name is Kevin, and I'm very bad at writing. So that looks like a 5 now. Why did I do that? So it's scribbled because I didn't hold the pen button down, scrub it out, write it again. Still not the best. I'm not the best at writing. But yeah, so this is really good. And what I mean from that is this feels so much better than writing on an iPad. This is one of the things I've been talking about in the marketing material. You know, it's not glass. We don't have a backlight. And it does make a difference. This does feel closer to writing on paper than it does to writing on a tablet. And if that's important to you, that's something you have to be aware of. Tablets are amazing. I'm not discounting the iPad, but this is designed for note-taking. And I do think from a note-taking point of view, this tablet gets that aspect of it. It just gets it done so well. It just works so well. Now, when you've got the notes, you've got different options up here as well. Now you can see here, there's a text option here, and that's quite useful as well. I can just type in test. This is a test. I'd obviously use 2 hands if I was doing this normally. Now, one thing to note is if I select the eraser, it's not going to just delete it like normal. And that's because you kind of have to go back to your text and select that. You need to go. So if you've got, like, for example, if you've selected the text option and just typed something in, you can't just erase it. You have to go back to the typing option and then delete it that way, which I guess makes sense. But yeah, from a basic functionality point of view, undo, redo, your pencil, your lasso, and then typing. For a lot of people, those options there will cover 95% of your notes, and it works really well. I think it works really well in practice. So I've covered the basics of note-taking, the start of the toolbar here. Undo, redo, pencil, lasso, and then typing. And I think generally speaking, for most basic notes, you're going to be covered there. But there's a lot of other options here at the side here, and I want to show you them. So AI. The first option here is meeting minutes. Now, I don't have any transcriptions here, but the idea here is that this can summarize large meetings that you've recorded and transcribed. And you can summarize a long meeting into a short summary. So that's a very cool feature, and one that I think if you're into long meetings, it could be very useful. We've also got OCR and format. Now, as we've established already, my handwriting is terrible, and it has been all my life. And I've been told by teachers since I was about 5. But OCR, yes. Okay, I've only wrote a few words, but it just shows you there that if your handwriting is bad like mine, you can write a full document and this will convert it, it will recognize it, the character recognition there, and you've got the option then of inserting it into your note or inserting it and hiding the original page. So it's quite useful. You know, if you're a bad handwriter, if you're really bad at writing like I am, you can convert those ugly handwritten notes into text like that. The other option here, text creation. This is an extension of ChatGPT 5 and Gemini 3.1 Pro. So you can see here, manuscript creation. Now, at the top here, ChatGPT 5 is included, but there's Gemini 3.1 Pro as well. And if you upgrade to the $5.99 per month plan, you can select Gemini 3 Pro and you get unlimited note syncing, etc. I think most people will be happy with ChatGPT though. So you can see there's a lot of speeches here, business speeches, wedding speeches, official document writing, marketing copy. There's a lot of different options here. It's not something I've messed about with too much, but it's quite a cool feature. So if I put Kevin, I can't spell, there we go, and I'll put wife as the bride's name. And I can, let me see, length, yeah, I'll just leave it like that, generate. And this is just using ChatGPT 5 to generate a wedding speech. Pretty cool. There you go. There's my wedding speech. I'm all set for the wedding. So yeah, and once you've done that, you can change the prompt, regenerate, exit, save it, insert it into your note, etc. It's just another cool idea. It's another cool option that they've got built in. So the other cool option they've got is this. And you can see the second I've pressed this, it has started listening to me. And it's listening to me talking, and it's listening to me speak to all of you guys right now. So I'm going to stop. And once I've done that, you can see that there is an option here. I can hide it. I can put that back up actually, like that. And select it again. And then I can insert it into notes. Completed. We'll hide that for a second. It's transcribed what I said. I think it has the difficulty with some of the things I was saying there. Yeah. But yeah, that's the option there, that it's summarise what I was saying there. And yeah, it's always going to struggle with the Scottish accent a little bit, but I think it's done an okay job. And again, I think the idea with this is, you can use it to record notes over a long period of time, start it at the beginning of the meeting. The only thing I'm not sure of is that, once you've started that, you can resume the recording. I'm not sure if there's an option to delete this. There doesn't seem to be. It looks like you have to create a brand new note. But yeah, it's quite an interesting function. After that, we've got the new page, or we can create a mind map. This is something I was messing about with. It's not something I've got a lot of experience of using. But the idea of these mind map things is that you can have like central themes, and then you can build upon them. So you can see here, add another box, and you can plan things out. I've did things like this with my job, with software development, with logic gates, and planning the design out of an app, etc. So this is kind of an extension to that, the idea that you can put down all your notes for your central theme. Not something I would use a lot myself, but it's cool that it's included. Let's go back. We've also got sharing. So you can share the link, PDF, text. There's a lot of different options here. QR code, email sharing. And there we go. There's the recently opened notes. And then we've got the different pages. My name is Kevin. There we go. So yeah, that's all the options there. You've got your basic notes on the left-hand side. Then in the middle there, you've got your AI options and your recordings. And then we've got different options for sharing, etc. at the right-hand side of the toolbar. I think, it's one of those things. I think with note-taking, there's going to be a lot of people that want more complex options. But what I like about this is that it's really simple. It's very easy to start taking notes. It's very quick to start taking notes. But there is all of that additional AI functionality if you need it. Calendar and email functionality has also been built into the home screen. Schedule is the calendar, and the little email inbox there obviously is email. And both of these support Google and Microsoft out of the box. So for the calendar, I've integrated the Google Calendar for our family. You can see my wife's on call this week, so lots of reminders about that. You can see memos, weekly reports. We've got tasks up here, focus stars. And I think the main thing is you can set up a local calendar on the device, but the main support here is Google and Outlook. I think there are some workarounds to that. If you use a third-party calendar solution, you can try and integrate it into Google Calendar or Outlook. But another option would be just to download the app, the calendar app that you use from the Google Play Store. That would probably be a more practical solution to that. It's a little bit better with the email. This supports Gmail and Microsoft Outlook, but you can sign into any email account if it's an IMAP service. So you should be able to integrate most email accounts into the device. But again, if you can't add your email service, if there's any issues like that, what you would do is go into the application folder, go into the Google Play Store, and just download the app that you want. I've spent most of this video talking about how the iNote 2 can help you be more productive, taking notes, checking your email, checking your calendar, etc. But this is an e-ink tablet, and an e-ink tablet is obviously very good at reading ebooks. So in the main interface here, you'll see we've got reading down here. Now, I do have Amazon Kindle installed. I've got the app installed, but this is what you will see when you come in. It will default to your bookshelf of the books that you have here. Now, you'll see here, I've got bookshelf. These are the ones that I've downloaded to see what it was like. War and Peace, Pride and Prejudice. I've got Office Center. We've got Bookstore. Now, if you're browsing the web or something, you could download ebooks directly here. You can transfer them here with Type-C or over Bluetooth. You can share with this device or just download it from your email and then save it to your device, and it will be accessible here. There's a lot of options here though. They've got a lot of free ebooks for you to test, to play around with. But essentially all the ones here will be the ebooks that are stored on the device. So here you can click any of these books and you can download them, and it will be stored on your device, and you can add it to your bookshelf. And then once you have it, you've got your ebook. And the great thing about this obviously is that you've got a note-taking device as well. So for research purposes, again, I'm going back to being productive, but if you're reading an ebook, it's very easy to stop and add notes to it, etc. But if you just want to read, you can just use it to read. And it's such a nice experience. Now, this is 2026. I'm sure most of you have used an Amazon Kindle or another ebook reader at one point. So I don't have to keep going on about this point, but yes, in comparison to using a tablet, an Android tablet or an iPad to read ebooks, this is generally a better experience. You just need good light, obviously, because there's no backlight. But yes, it's a very nice experience. You're not going to strain your eyes. There's no backlight hurting your eyes. You don't have to worry about anything like that. And it's just really nice to use. So if you're using this to read ebooks, to read documents, I think you're going to be very happy with that whole ebook experience. It works really well. And as I said, you can add notes and different things as well. There's lots of functionality for adding notes and saving notes and different options like that as well. But I do want to show you that I did download Kindle, because I think for a lot of people, that's what they'll do. They will download the Kindle app and they'll just go to their own collection of books and they'll download those books to this device. So you don't access these ebooks through the reading option. You will go to applications, then go to Kindle, and yeah, it works really well. I mean, it's just a Kindle app and it works really well, and you can go in and just download any of your books from your library. And it's a very similar experience. You've got lots of different options there, and obviously you can go back to the main menu there. So it's really good, and you can go across, you can, yeah. It's just the same as using the Kindle app on your phone or on your tablet or on Amazon, on an Amazon ebook reader as well. So, I mean, I'm kind of stating the obvious here, but yes, reading ebooks, reading documents, reading PDFs on an e-ink tablet such as this, it's a very nice experience. The iNote 2 is an e-ink tablet, but underneath the hood is Android. And it's no different to other Android tablets in that you get access to the Google Play Store and you get access to a countless number of free and premium apps. Now, out of the box, you do get access to, you've got the Files application there. We've got Cloud Drive, we've got WPS Office as well. And clearly, the Office applications like this are going to work very well with this type of product. You're going to get access to documents, you can sign documents, you can open PDFs, you can write and different things. So that's obviously going to be a very good option. E-ink does have limitations, you have to be aware of that. I wouldn't encourage you to use this to watch YouTube videos or play games. But with the Google Play Store, you do get access to a lot of different options and a lot of different types of apps. One being, for example, a browser. So I could search for, for Chrome. Here we go. There's Google Chrome, there's Firefox, but let's install Chrome. 77 meg, and you can see the download speed there's not too bad actually. Wi-Fi 6. Okay, so this is Google Chrome on the iNote 2. And I've not tried this myself yet, but I wanted to show you this because I want to show you that this tablet can be used for more than just reading and writing. So this will give you an idea as to what it will be like browsing a news website. And I think that's one of the options you would maybe go for, like downloading a browser to read online, to read websites online. And in my opinion, it's pretty quick. I mean, look at that. I mean, I do have it set on the speed mode. This is a pretty quick way to browse the web. So you could use this to access your favorite forums, favorite websites. I mean, it is quick and it's a nice reading experience. It does feel more like reading a newspaper than it does browsing a website. But yeah, it's a viable option. It's probably one of the applications you would download from Google Play. But as I was saying, you do have access to Google Play and you do have access to all of the apps that are on the Google Play Store. So yeah, there's a lot of options here. Yes, this is a productivity device. It is an ebook reader as well. But with access to the Google Play Store, you have a lot of other things that you can do with this tablet. I hope you've all enjoyed this look at the iFLYTEK iNote 2. I'd like to summarise my thoughts about this e-ink tablet in this final section. And I'll start off by saying that this is one of the more interesting products I've reviewed on this channel over the last few years. But this product is not for everyone. It really isn't. And I hope everyone is clear about that before they spend any money. Yes, underneath the hood, this is an Android tablet. You pull down, you get notifications, you get your settings there. We've got Google Play Store. Yes, the interface is a little bit different, but this underneath the hood is an Android tablet. But it is a tablet that's been modified to do very specific tasks, productive tasks, writing, transcribing, translating, reading, and it has been modified for that. Now, I'm sure some of you are watching this thinking, oh, I would love to have that functionality. But again, I do think that most of the general public would be happier with a normal tablet, a normal Android tablet or an iPad, because everything you can do here, you can do here. You can do it on an iPad, you can do it on a Samsung tablet, etc. And here you'll get a nice colorful display, you'll get the speakers, you'll get the camera, you can watch videos, you can play games. And I've got the pen, I can transcribe, I can write notes, I can draw, I can do everything that I do here on here. I'm not doing that to belittle this guy over here. I'm just trying to be clear about what this product is and what it isn't, because everything you can do here, you can do on the tablet. The reason I'm stressing that is because, yes, you can do all these things on a tablet such as an iPad, but when it comes to taking notes, this is better. It's quicker, it's designed for notes, and it just works really, really well. And the display is gorgeous. It's got great battery life. It's such a thin device, such a nice device to use. It doesn't strain your eyes. Taking notes is great. And honestly, like, it's a hard thing for me to kind of convey in video, but writing on this does feel like writing on paper, whereas on an iPad, it's a very different experience. It's just not as good. So if you value note-taking, this is fantastic. If you read a lot, this is fantastic. If you're looking for something to supplement what you do in your job, taking notes, memos, recording meetings, etc., this is a fantastic solution for that. Now, it's not cheap. It retails at over $500, etc., 500 to $600, depending on where you are in the world. And depending on what you do and what you need this for, that's either a bargain or it's way too expensive. It really is up to you to work out whether this gives you value or whether this makes you more productive. I know in my own job, devices like this would help a lot of people. I've got a lot of people who work at my company and they spend all day in meetings, taking notes, sending emails, jumping from meeting to meeting. And for people like that, this type of device is fantastic. Even just forgetting the productive side of things, if you want to get back into reading more, I've tried reading on my iPad. I do have the Kindle app, but it's so much nicer reading on this. It really is. I'm kind of stating the obvious here because a lot of what I'm saying here applies to all e-ink tablets from competitors' alternative solutions. But yes, it is. It's so much nicer to read on this. It's so much nicer to use. And it does write like paper, it does. So it's a fantastic device. That's ultimately what I'm trying to tell you all. It is a fantastic device, but I don't think it is for everyone. I think it is more of a niche product. It's for people who want to read a lot. It's for people who want to take notes and be productive. But for what it was designed for, I think this is a fantastic solution. Now, as always, I hope what I've done is useful for you guys. I hope it gives you a better understanding as to what this tablet is all about. But do your research, check the official website, check out other YouTube reviews, check out what other people have said about this, good and bad, and just try and figure out whether this is the product for you or not. But my own experience with this, yeah, I've enjoyed using it. This has been a really pleasant experience, and I think from a reading and writing perspective, this is fantastic. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, please comment, and please subscribe. And until next time, take care.